If you're looking for a second passport, you may have come across Caribbean Citizenship by investment and its two most common options, where you can either make a donation to the country or you can buy a real estate. A lot of people think that buying real estate makes more sense because at least I own something rather than donating money that's gone forever. But today, I'm going to tell you why real estate is almost always a bad deal. I'm going to share with you some inside information from the industry that explains exactly why I feel that way. And for the first time ever, I'm going to explain the one exception where I might buy real estate to qualify for Caribbean citizenship. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson, and here at Nomad Capitalist, our team of over 36 people, our network of experts all around the world, and myself help 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs and investors legally go where you're treated best. You can learn more at nomadcapitalist.com. So let's talk about Caribbean citizenship by investment. Probably the fastest, most streamlined way to get a second passport today. Provided you don't have a criminal record, you don't have a totally chaotic life, you're probably going to get approved unless you're from a country that's on the banned list. It is faster than European citizenship by investment programs, more reputable than the program in Vanuatu, and probably even faster than free citizenship by descent if you're lucky enough to have ancestors from another country. If you really want a second passport without the muss and fuss, this is it. Now, let's talk about where some of the muss and fuss comes into play. What some people say is, hey, I don't want to make a donation, $100,000 and up if I'm single, $130,000 and up depending on the program if I'm a couple or a family of 4. Why not have something that I can hold on to and resell later? Keep the money in the balance sheet. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is if I can donate $100,000 and the real estate program requires a $40,000 government fee, plus I have to buy, let's say, $250,000 of real estate, I'm already putting out $190,000 more money. If I'm in cryptocurrency, if I'm a trader, if I'm investing in my own business, the opportunity cost of holding an asset on my balance sheet that I'm getting maybe 2% yield on is not very favorable, especially as we've worked with a lot of cryptocurrency folks recently. I mean, spending an extra $190,000 now just to get it back, hopefully in 5, 6, 7 years, doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, let's talk about what only insiders know, and that is in some of these islands, most of the programs are actually, or most of the real estate options are actually a total scam. There are programs that you won't see marketed if you're a Westerner, but if you go to some emerging countries, you will see them quite commonly, where they will basically market the program as having a lower cost buying the real estate than making the donation. Basically, it is a paper real estate project that no one ever intends to build, but the money, the commissions are so heavy that people can give their commission back to the end user and reduce the cost below the $100,000 or $130,000 or $150,000 donation level. So basically, people are buying real estate but paying less than the donation. It's a scam and it puts your citizenship at risk. But some people in countries where they're more used to that kind of thing, they don't mind, and so it continues. And countries have really cracked down on that. I think Grenada is recognized as being probably the strictest country in terms of making people do what they say. But that's one issue. And so certainly you want to make sure that if you're investing in a real estate program, the thing's going to get built. And so if you're sitting in the United States or some other Western country where that's less of an issue, understand that there are a number of disreputable people who are out in this business. What you also want to understand is that when you buy into one of these programs, you're basically buying into the program itself. So let's say you go and make that $250,000 real estate investment, and the developer says, of course, after 5 years, you can resell it to the next guy, right? There was something I saw on social media from someone in the industry who said, here's another one of our beautiful projects in the Caribbean. Investing in a project like this not only gives investors a good ROI, but a good citizenship. Now, let's say a year from now, the government decides that thanks to the pandemic, thanks to another hurricane, thanks to global market conditions, new citizenship programs, whatever, that they're not going to lower the donation, but they're going to lower the real estate investment amount. Countries have done that. Now imagine the new minimum real estate investment is $150,000. Who's going to want to buy your $250,000 real estate 5 years from now? Nobody. In the meantime, what are you getting? Maybe a yield of 2, 3, 4%, which might be good if you're investing in property in London or some legacy brand city that maybe there's always some core demand. Where is there core demand for property on a tiny island in the Caribbean? Tiny islands in the Caribbean are a dime a dozen. If someone doesn't want to buy here, they can buy here or there or here. So who's going to be committed to buying in your particular project, particularly as more and more of these projects are able to come out? It's just going to be very difficult. So you're going to make this tiny yield. That's only if the developer continues to operate the project as promised, and considering that a plurality or perhaps even a majority of programs won't even actually get up and running, that's certainly debatable, whether the developer simply doesn't just run away and file bankruptcy and never pay you your yield. But on top of that, why would you want a bad yield? You're going to have trouble selling it. Why would someone want to buy your resale unit if there are still new units for sale? And by the way, in the meantime, what people think they're getting is a property, oh, I'll go and live there. No, you generally won't, because for these minimum prices in each of these islands, what you're generally getting is some kind of timeshare, or you're getting part of a revenue pool, or you're getting something that's not really your own. Maybe you just own, 1% of the hotel, and there's no particular tangible room or apartment or villa that you own. You're just owning the revenue pool. Now that qualifies as a real estate investment. Maybe what you're getting is a timeshare where you get 2 weeks a year. Either way, most of these real estate options will generally give you 1 week or 2 weeks a year to go and spend in your program or in your in the property, but it's not your property. You can't leave your stuff in the closet. You can't, put your gold coins in a safe in the office. It's just a place where you can go and visit. Nothing wrong with that, but most people don't think that's what they're buying. You are buying into a business that's not run by you, that gives you an inferior yield, and that has very, very, very poor liquidity from an industry that only has a handful of reputable players, most of whom are disreputable and dishonorable. And so the idea that you're getting a good investment is simply laughable. Do you know who it's a good investment for? It's a good investment for people who post comments like this online, because do you know why? Some of these programs pay them $40,000, $50,000, or even more in commissions for selling into their program. So it's a great investment for the salesperson. This is why I always tell you, when it comes to residence and citizenship, don't trust a salesperson who has a glossy brochure and a handful of things to show you. That's why at Nomad Capitalist we work with dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of programs, and I can't say that I've ever once told someone to buy real estate. I have actively tried to talk people out of buying real estate in these Caribbean programs, because not only for all the reasons that you just mentioned, but you don't actually save that much. If the donation is $100, but the government fee to process your real estate investment is $35 or $40, your savings is really, it's not even the $100,000. We're often, in a mid to high five-figure delta, which quite frankly, with all the opportunities out there in the world that we talk about here and whatever else you guys may be doing, it's just not worth it to tie your money up for 5, 6, 7 years. The only opportunity I have mentioned to people outside of the donation itself is St. Lucia's bond program, where you have a 0% interest bond, and if you're just sitting on tons of cash and you trust that St. Lucia will repay you in 5, 6, or 7 years, you can reduce your out-of-pocket expense, and you can basically keep an extra $70,000 on your balance sheet. Now, what's the one exception to all of this? I had a gentleman call me recently say he was looking for a $3 to $5 million vacation home, and he was open to doing it in a Caribbean country if it got him citizenship. There are sometimes approved programs, because remember, you can't just go to St. Lucia or Antigua or Grenada and just buy any real estate on the open market. It must be approved for citizenship by investment. Whoever's going through that process is going to be selling you more expensive real estate. However, there are some programs where it's a guy building 8 villas on the side of a cliff overlooking the ocean. And the villas are far from cheap. I mean, we're talking 7 figures almost always. But maybe you're paying a little bit of a premium. But basically, there are situations like that where it's just a high-end home builder who's figuring, you know what, this will give me a bit of an edge. It's the cost of doing business. I can get people citizenship while selling them a home. In that case, when you are investing that far above the minimum sum, you will own the property, you can have title, you can leave your clothes in the closet, you can leave your gold coins in the office, you can come and go as you please, you can rent it out, you're in control. and you can sell it whenever you want on the open market, and you probably have a lot better chance to do that. Not only because you're far above the minimum threshold, which I think is always a dangerous place to be when buying real estate for a golden visa program or for a citizenship by investment program, because so many people flock to that price point, and people who are under the price point will sometimes, push their price point up just to attract people at the minimum number. Once you're 5 times or 10 times above the floor required, now you have a much better liquidity situation. I'm still not going to say that you're going to have amazing liquidity buying a $3 million villa on a small island, but at least you have buyers for that. It's not going to be as quick as selling your home in Los Angeles or in London, but nor would it be as quick to sell your beach home in Greece or in Montenegro, for example. I think that's one of the things you understand when you buy a beach home. It's just a little bit more difficult to sell when you're buying it as something to enjoy. But at least if you're in that 7-figure, own the entire thing to yourself, have total control phase, that is the one reason why I would tell someone to buy for citizenship. Now, if you're actively looking for a $3 million villa, sure, why not get a free citizenship out of it? I'm all for getting free citizenships. But if the goal is villa first and then citizenship, and you're willing to be flexible, it makes a lot of sense. If the goal is, I don't care about living there, I just want to get the citizenship, I would almost always make the donation. How can Nomad Capitalist help you? 4 ways. Number 1, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to make sure you get our new video every day. Number 2, get a copy of Nomad Capitalist, the book. You'll learn a lot of my personal experiences over a dozen years of studying this stuff, as well as exactly some of the strategies that you can use to build your Nomad Capitalist plan. Number 3, if you're not sure where to start, but you want to come and learn from my team and I, you want to come and mingle with like-minded people, learn more about our live conference, Nomad Capitalist Live. It's coming up soon. And number 4, if you want some help right now because you've got a burning issue, you need something solved, you want to lower your taxes, get a second passport, or build the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle of your dreams, go to nomadcapitalist.com and click on Become a Client.